Hi Oak class, in today's maths lesson we're going to be looking at unit fractions and using flags of the world to represent the unit fractions. So here on the screen I've got 4 different flags of the world. We've got Mauritius, Monaco, Chad and Germany. What's the same and what's different about all of these flags? Pause the video and try and come up with some ideas. So one of the differences is to do with the stripes of the flags. You might notice that the stripes are all different colours, but also there are different numbers of stripes. On the Mauritius flag, there are 4 stripes, and on Monaco's flag, there are 2 stripes. On Chad's, there are 3, and on Germany's, there are also 3. Let's look at Monaco's flag. So Monaco's flag has 2 different stripes in it, so we can say that the flag is split into 2 equal parts. So each stripe on Monaco's flag represents 1/2. The denominator represents how many parts there are in total. So we've got 2 parts of Monaco's flag. Now let's look at Chad's flag. What fraction of Chad's flag is each stripe? Pause the video and have a think. So we know that Chad's flag has 3 stripes, so 3 would be our denominator. And in unit fractions, the numerator is always 1. I've added that as a stem sentence here so each stripe on Chad's flag represents 1/3. Can we come up with a stem sentence for the denominator as well? The denominator represents how many parts there are in total. So remember, each one of these fractions is a unit fraction, so the numerator is always 1, and the denominator, the bottom number, represents how many parts there are in total. So if we go back to Chad here, Chad's flag, it's got 3 stripes, so the denominator is 3, and each stripe is 1/3 of the flag. Pause the video and try and have a go at Mauritius and Germany and see if you can write the unit fractions for those. Okay, now let's have a look at the first Think Together question. So this question says, Class 2 have been making their own flags. What fraction of each flag has a star? So when we look at Gabby's flag, it's already given us the denominator, so it's already told us that Gabby's flag is split into 3 equal parts. Now, to work out what fraction of each flag has a star, we need to work out how many parts of the flag have a star on it. So pause the video and see if you can work it out. Okay, let's have a look at Gabby's flag. So it's got a blue stripe, a light blue stripe, a dark blue stripe, and a purple stripe. And the dark blue stripe has a star on it. So only one stripe has a star. So 1/3 of Gabby's flag has a star on it. Pause the video and have a go at these other questions and see if you can come up with the answers, and then we'll go through them. Did you work them out? Let's go through them and see if you were right. So Tim's flag is split into 4 equal parts, and one part has a star on it. So the numerator would be 1, and because we're working with unit fractions, remember the numerator is always 1. And the denominator is how many parts the flag is split into. Tim's flag has 4 parts, so the denominator is 4. How would we say this fraction? 1/4. 1/4 of Tim's flag has a star. Let's look at Anya's flag. How many parts has Anya's flag been split into? It's been split into 2 parts. So 2 would be our denominator, our bottom number. And how many parts of Anya's flag have a star on? It's the red part, and it's 1. So how do we say that fraction? 1/2 of Anya's flag has a star on it. And then finally, if we look at Milo's flag, it's got a green stripe, a yellow stripe, and a purple stripe. So what would our denominator be? Our denominator would be 3, because Milo's flag is split into thirds, or 3 equal parts. Remember, for a fraction, each part has to be equal. And the star is on the purple stripe of the flag. So 1/3 of Milo's flag has a star. Well done. If you got any of those right, you can have a house point for each one. So if you found all of that really easy and you're looking for a challenge, you can try this page here. Find 1/3 of each of these. Okay, pause the video, have a go, and then we'll go through the answers. So these challenge questions are asking us to find 1/3 of each of these groups. So how many stars have we got here in total? We've got 6 stars and we need to find a third. Remember, 1/3 means it's split into 3 equal groups. 3 is our denominator, and that shows us how many parts there are in total. So our 6 stars have been split into 3 equal groups. Another way of saying that would be 6 divided by 3. So if we share these 6 stars into 3 equal groups, how many do we have in each group? There's 1 group, there's 2 groups, and there's 3 groups. How many stars are in each group? 2. So 1/3 of 6 is equal to 2. Let's move on to the next one. 1/3 of 9. So here instead we've got a block of 9 squares. And we do the same thing. We've got to split them into 3 equal groups. So 9. So we have 9 squares and we've got to split them into 3 equal groups. So 9 split into 3 equal groups. Got 1, 2, 3. How many squares have we got in each group? 3. So 1/3 of 9 is equal to 3. And finally, let's look at the last challenge question. 15 divided into 3 equal parts would be, so we've got 1 group here, 2 groups here, and 3 groups here. How many squares are in each group? 1, 2, 3. There are 5 squares in each group, so 1/3 of 15 is equal to 5. Did you have a different way of working it out? Share it with me if you did. You got the challenge questions right, give yourself 2 house points. Well done. So now it's time for the fun part of the maths lesson, where we're going to be creating our own fraction flags. So you will need a ruler and a pencil, or if you don't have a ruler, I'll show you a trick that you can do to divide your paper into equal parts without needing a ruler. So one way of creating a flag we could do is by doing it in stripes. Okay, and I'm going to draw a pattern on one of my stripes. So I'm going to draw a heart up here. Okay, so if you don't have a ruler, here's another way you can do it. You can fold your paper instead. So now I've got 5 parts. Okay, so I've got 2 different flags here that I've coloured in. Obviously, This one doesn't look very neat, and yours will be much neater when you do it in person. I've got this flag here. This flag is split into 3 equal parts, or thirds, and 1/3 of my flag has got a pink heart on it. This flag is split into 5 equal parts. What would each stripe on this flag represent? It would represent 1/5. So it'd be 1 with 5 as the denominator, because there are 5 equal parts. So now, once you've created your flag, I would like you to write some sentences describing your flag using unit fractions. Okay, so the sentences I can use to describe my flag would be: my flag is divided into 3 equal parts. Each stripe or each stripe or part represents 1/3. Then you can say 1/3 of my flag is orange, and so on. Then you can say the pink heart is on 1/3 of my flag. Okay, and there will be some sentence frames attached to the home learning letter to help you. Enjoy making your flag and be as creative as you would like, and I can't wait to see all the different colourful ones that you make. Here are a couple of other flags that I made after the lesson, just to show you that you don't have to do horizontal or vertical stripes for your flag. You can also do more interesting shapes. So for example, in this one I've done rectangles, and in the next one I've done 4 triangles with a star on one of the triangles. So be as creative as you would like. But remember that for a fraction, each part has to be equal.